My 36M family is upset I'm prioritizing my bill over my niece after my sister 27F cheated. My sister Mary 27F met her husband Tom 29M when she was attending college out of state and he was stationed near her campus with the Army. After he got out, she dropped out of school so they could move to our home state at her request, so we've been the only family he's had here. They have a 3-year-old daughter Jane. Not long ago a guy, call him Bill, reached out to Tom on FB and told him that he saw my sister has a 3-year-old kid and that there's a possibility my niece may be his child. He and my sister had been having an affair from the time they moved home until shortly after she found out she was pregnant. He had to move away for work and my sister never mentioned the pregnancy to him, or that she was married. Tom confronted Mary and eventually she admitted to the affair. 2 paternity tests later, it was confirmed my niece is not Tom's child. He has been devastated. Bill wants to be in Jane's life, but my sister and family are staunchly against this. They say Jane already has a dad, Tom. Tom has been going to counseling since Biodad first reached out to him, and he just cannot see Jane the way he used to or be around her, or talk about her, without breaking down. He says it hurts too much and he feels like his life has been based on a lie, nor can he really imagine staying in her life with Bill around. Since they separated, I have been letting Tom stay at my place since he has no family here. My sister thinks I'm out of line letting Tom stay and that I'm depriving my niece of her uncle. She doesn't want Jane here so long as I'm supporting Tom. Fair, I guess, and Tom has offered that he would go to friends or out if I wanted to babysit or spend time with my niece. Also fair. Personally, I sympathize with Tom. I'm not an affair baby, but my mother was pregnant with me when she met my sibling's father. He made the stipulation that he'd stick around but my bio dad and bio family could not be around, and my mother agreed. He treated me differently once my sister and brothers were born, and even more so after he and my mother divorced. My paternal family reached out eventually and I learned the truth, and I got to know them. This pissed off my adopted dad to no end, and his family as well. Said it was a slap in the face that I would even want to know my other family. They were my family and it was ungrateful of me to forsake all of that. I don't want my niece to possibly go through that. Getting stuck between families is the worst. So I've been helping Tom find out more about Bill and mediating between them when they talk. Bill seems like a real stand-up guy with positive people around him, and wants to take my sister to court for custody, and Bill as well to get taken off the birth certificate. I support both of them in these decisions and have offered to help if they need it. My sister is mad at me, but I have told her and our family that she should only be mad at herself. None of this would even be happening even she hadn't played eeny meeny miny mo with her kid's dad. My family thinks I am prioritizing Tom and Bill over my own niece, that I should be shaming him for abandoning his daughter, and that I am turning my back on her, but I don't think I am. I also think that Tom deserves some kind of support through all of this. I could really use some outside perspective. Is this really a wrong stance for me to take? Or should I back off because my family is right about Tom needing to stick around and shun Bill? Update: I'll address a few questions that popped up before my mini update. Yes, Bill knows Jane is his. When Tom got his paternity test done, he and Bill had him go separately to be tested. Why am I letting Tom stay with me? Well, he was family for years, and for me, you don't just chuck family onto the streets except for extreme situations. Divorce takes a year in my state and Tom is opting to stay to make sure it can all be handled quickly and smoothly to get it finalized as soon as possible. That said, he plans on moving back to his home state after that, so I am letting him stay with me so he can save money for his move and moving expenses. Otherwise, the only places he could afford on his own require 6 and 12-month leases. Supporting Tom and Bill may result in my sister and I having little to no contact. True, it may, and that'll be our crosses to bear, but I can't find it in me to ignore others needing help just to satiate her and excuse her behavior. I still love my sister. Whatever my feelings or opinions of what she did or is doing have no place in this, nor is it really the time for me to go expressing them to her. Bill's lawyer says it's very likely Bill will wind up with a custody arrangement, and he has assured me that if things do go south with my sister that she won't let me see my niece. I'd always be welcome to visit them to see her during his time with her. It's not a huge update but rather surprising. My sister is still being cranky and doubling down, doing all she can to guilt Tom into reconciling and adamant about Bill not being involved because she has a husband that just needs to realize they can work through this. Tom is Jane's dad and Bill is not needed. So, May there. Last week I went on a fishing trip with both Tom and Bill for the three of us to just relax and forget all this nonsense for a bit. Once we got back, my mother showed up to try talking to me about why I am doing any of this. Surprisingly, we had a decent talk after some heated tension. I wound up showing her the post, and while she wasn't happy I was airing our laundry, it helped a bit. Ultimately I was able to get it through to her that given the circumstances and the high probability Bill is going to be a presence in Jane's life from here on out, the best thing for Jane would be if our family and Bill could at least coexist. I asked her how she would feel if her granddaughter was constantly having to choose who to spend time with for birthdays, graduation, prom pictures, etc., or God's forbid, we all put her in a position that she would have to lie to everyone about what she wanted just to not hurt feelings. It took a while, but that seemed to at least get through to her a bit. She's still not happy about the whole situation, but she did agree to a dinner in a public place to meet Bill and some of his family, and I'm happy to say that wound up going off really well and Bill's mother had a good heart-to-heart with her. So, some progress. Thanks again everyone for the support. Redditor's reactions story 2 after. Redditor 1, stand firm up. You are a good person. Keep standing tall. This whole situation is on your sister's head, but she's trying to blame you for supporting 2 of the 3 victims of her shenanigans. It sounds like you are the scapegoat of the family. You are not putting the 2 men above your niece. Your sister is weaponizing her. She is the one not allowing you to see her. Don't buy into their manipulative BS. Your sister could very easily set up times where you can visit your niece, go on an outing to the park for example, etc. She is the one putting the kibosh on this. I find it admirable that you are ultimately benefiting your niece by clearing up her paternity situation and allowing her bio dad to claim his rights to her. I especially find it admirable that you are supporting your Bill after the massive betrayal that he has endured via your sister's hand. Keep walking tall and don't lower yourself to your family's non-existent ethics. Redditor 2, sorry, your sister needs to figuratively be set on fire. She is the reason this happened. Paternity fraud, cheating, lying. Just scum. There are 3 victims here, Jane, Tom, and Bill. I understand Tom's position. I don't think I could raise another man's child. I honestly believe it would be my worst nightmare if my son wasn't mine. It doesn't matter what your family thinks, Bill has rights, he is going to be involved, they need to deal with this. It seems everything he has done is honorable. Reaching out must have been hard. This has got to be awful for Jane. My heart breaks for her. Luckily there are still a large number of people fighting to be involved. I think she is going to be okay. Fortunately she is really young too. What a piece of asset Mary is. I hope you are doing okay, you sound like a fantastic uncle. Redditor follow up, especially as Op has literally been in Jane's position. If anyone can understand and support her through this, it's clearly him. Redditor 3, all of this is literally her fault. She does not get to decide what you do. Redditor 4, your family is supporting the woman who cheated on her husband, had a baby with another man, and never told anyone. They don't get a say. I find it just disgusting that their argument is that you don't get to see your niece if Tom is living with you. They don't seem to have a problem with your niece not seeing Tom, the only dad she's known, or FFS, her newly revealed bio dad. You want to support Tom and mediate with Bill is admirable Op. You are a good person. Redditor follow up, it's such a leap in logic they're applying too. They won't let Op see his niece because the child's not father is there, but they have unilaterally decided the not father is the father and therefore must take responsibility for her. While I understand guys who stay in kids' lives after a discovery like this is made, you can't blame them for walking away either. Niece is only 3 anyways, and the fact is that if he left now she'd never even remember him. Story 2, ruined a marriage and my family for revenge. So I recently discovered this sub and had a personal story to share. On mobile, so forgive formatting, grammar, etc. Story is several years old. I've always been the black sheep of the family. Cousins grew up to be doctors, professors, creatives and whatever else. Meanwhile, I've managed to just make a humble, stable passive income through some business decisions. Nothing fancy, but I can afford a 1-bedroom in NYC and live comfortably with that and a part-time job in a cafe. Everyone in the family, including my own parents, judge me harshly for not pushing myself to do what my cousins do, especially my one cousin we will call Randy. Think the stereotypical dude bro who got rich thanks to working for his dad. Multiply that by 10, and you got Randy. Anyway, he always gave me the most acid, and eventually I just tuned them out cause I get to enjoy my life with my work part-time and still afford what I want. So, to cut the BLLS at short, Randy has a wife and 2 kids, he also had a stress. I found this out cause one day when I was walking through the city when I saw him walking down the street with a woman who clearly wasn't his wife, arms around each other. I checked Facebook and saw he had indeed posted about visiting a bagel shop in the city while on a business trip that morning, so we had indeed in the city. So, I decided duck it, let me see how this plays out. I followed them for 5 hours, snapped several photos, one of them going into a hotel together. I held on to these and waited until Christmas that year. About 6 months later, I decided to unceremoniously drop printed photos in front of everyone at the table before dinner and made sure to get his wife to see them. Cue screaming and fighting, I actually got a black eye out of it. It was Randy's dad who did it though, not him. Cue police, a lot of questioning, my and I get kicked out. We head back home after talking to the cops one last time. The aftermath. Besides Randy's wife and another cousin who hates Randy, my family cut me off entirely for several years. Whatever, even my parents had always expressed disappointment in me for not applying myself fully, so no real loss there. Randy got divorced. Lost full custody of the kids after threatening his ex. Family occasionally tries to guilt me into apologizing, but my response is some variation of not gonna apologize for outing a cheating cunt, and I'm promptly blocked for another few months. So and Randy's ex-wife are good friends and the kids call me Uncle Nick, having a family who actually loves me unconditionally for once. So and I got married, and that's when my family last tried to get into contact with me and were actually nice for once. Seeing me moving on, I guess eats at the mic. Maybe realizing their punching bag is gone for good. That's it really, living my best life now with a good family as opposed to a S@1. Edit. First, thanks for support and awards. Second, a bunch of y'all seem to think being abused is not traumatic or bad, as several comments seem to be saying wow, you're a bad person for having a negative reaction to abuse and not handling it like a golden human being. So I'll clarify. The comments about my wasted potential weren't just oh your cousin's a doctor, what about you? They were I can't believe Randy just sealed a deal for X amount of dollars. Are you still working at that S-City cafe? Are you still saying what's her name? The girl with the pudgy stomach? Aren't you ever gonna do anything with your life? I'd feel so worthless living like that. Those are the nicer ones. The worst ones include being told that it's better I didn't try as I wouldn't amount to anything and other such things along those lines, as I really don't care to remember the more toxic lines. I'm not interested in judgment. Go post on Ida threads if you want to say your piece about that, but don't ducking tell me that I wasn't an abuse victim and wasn't treated horribly by my own family just cause I didn't spell out the nitty-gritty details. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. Send them a framed picture every Christmas, all of them. Redditor 2, Randy sounds like a grade A tosser. Op answer, he was for sure, dude had a good life and that wasn't enough for him. All I know is that he is still single now but still working for his dad. Redditor 3, this is a strange blend of petty plus nuclear. I like it, I really do. Op answer, I think what really made me snap is while I never consciously acknowledged it until after this event, my family was just super toxic, so this was a big send-off fuck you from me to them.